My sister-in-law tried to steal my husband, so I taught her a lesson. She called my husband at 2 a.m., crying. That was her first mistake. I'd been asleep, tangled in the sheets, when the faint buzz of his phone jolted me awake. The clock glowed a harsh red. 2:03. Mark groaned beside me, fumbling for the device on his nightstand. I kept my eyes half closed, pretending to drift back into sleep, but my ears were sharp. He answered in a hushed tone, "Hey, what's wrong?" A pause. Then, "Calm down, I can't understand you. Just hold on, okay?" I heard the rustle of him slipping out of bed, the creak of the floorboards as he padded out of the room. My heart thudded, but I didn't move. Not yet. I waited until the bedroom door clicked shut before I sat up, straining to catch fragments of his voice through the walls. "No, it's fine. I'll figure something out. Just don't cry, all right?" When he came back 10 minutes later, he slid into bed like nothing had happened. I turned over, voice thick with fake sleep, and mumbled, "Who was that?" "Oh, it was Lisa," he said, too casually. "She's just having a rough night. Needed to vent." Lisa, my sister-in-law, Mark's younger brother's wife. The woman who'd been inching her way into our lives like a weed you don't notice until it's choking your garden. I didn't say anything else. I let him think I'd drifted off again. But my mind was racing, piecing together the puzzle I'd been ignoring for weeks. It started small, little things I could brush off as quirks or coincidence. Lisa texting Mark about random stuff, memes, a recipe she thought he'd like, a funny story from her day. I'd see her name pop up on his phone when we were watching TV, and he'd grin, typing back quick replies. "She's just chatty," he'd say if I raised an eyebrow. "You know how she is." Then there were the visits. She'd drop by unannounced. Always when Mark was home, never when it was just me. She'd breeze in with some flimsy excuse, returning a borrowed tool, dropping off leftovers from a dinner we hadn't been invited to. And every time, she'd doll herself up like she was auditioning for a role. Tight dresses, heels that clicked too loudly on our hardwood floors, perfume that lingered long after she left. I'd catch her tossing her hair, laughing too hard at his dumb jokes, resting her hand on his arm just a second too long. Mark didn't seem to notice. Or maybe he did, and he liked it. That thought gnawed at me, but I told myself I was being paranoid. Lisa was family after all. She was married to Tom, Mark's sweet, oblivious brother who worked long hours and adored her. She wouldn't cross that line. Would she? The 2 a.m. call changed everything. It wasn't just chatty anymore. It was desperate, intimate, a crack in the facade I couldn't unsee. The next morning, I watched Mark over breakfast. He was bleary-eyed, sipping coffee, scrolling through his phone. I waited until he looked up and asked, "So, what was Lisa crying about last night?" He shrugged, not meeting my eyes. "Oh, just drama. She and Tom had a fight or something. She didn't want to wake him up to talk it out." At 2 a.m., I kept my tone light, curious, like I was just making conversation. "Yeah, I guess it was bad timing." She apologized, though. He took a bite of toast, clearly hoping I'd drop it. I didn't. "What kind of fight?" He hesitated, just a flicker, but I caught it. I don't know the details. She was pretty upset, didn't make a lot of sense. I just told her to sleep it off." I nodded, smiling faintly, and let it go. But I didn't believe him. Not entirely. Mark's a terrible liar. He fidgets, avoids eye contact, over-explains. He was hiding something, and I was going to find out what. Over the next few weeks, I turned into a detective in my own marriage. I didn't confront him. I didn't nag or accuse. I watched. I listened. I waited. Lisa's texts kept coming, More frequent now, often late at night. I'd peek at his phone when he left it on the counter, never unlocking it, just glancing at the previews. Hey, you up? Need your advice on something. You're the only one who gets me. Innocent enough on their own, but they piled up like kindling waiting for a spark. Then there was the way she acted around him. We had a family barbecue at Tom and Lisa's place, and she spent half the night hovering near Mark. She'd bring him a beer, before he even asked, lean in close to whisper something that made him laugh, brush her fingers against his shoulder as she passed. Tom was busy at the grill, chatting with cousins, oblivious. I sat across the yard, sipping my drink, cataloging every move. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying her giggles, his easy smiles, the way she'd glance at me like she was daring me to say something. At 1 a.m., I slipped out of bed and checked Mark's phone. It was locked, but the screen lit up with a new message. Can't stop thinking about today. You're too sweet. My stomach twisted. I didn't wake him. I didn't scream. I put the phone down and started planning. The trap came a week later. I'd overheard Mark on the phone with her one evening, his voice low and warm in a way that made my skin crawl. Yeah, I can swing by tomorrow night. Tom's working late, right? Okay, see you then. He didn't tell me about it. When I asked what he was up to the next day, he said, "Oh, just running some errands after work. Might be home late." Errands. Right. I didn't call him out. Instead, I texted Lisa the next morning from my phone. "Hey, Mark mentioned he's stopping by tonight. Mind if I tag along? Been meaning to catch up with you." I added a smiley face to keep it breezy. Her reply came fast. "Oh, sure. Yeah, that'd be great. See you both later." Step 1, complete. She couldn't back out now without looking suspicious. Step 2 was riskier. I needed proof, something undeniable. I borrowed a tiny voice recorder from a friend at work, claiming it was for a project. That night, I tucked it into my purse, set to record, and went with Mark to Lisa's house. When we arrived, Lisa answered the door in a low-cut top and jeans that hugged her like a second skin. Her smile faltered when she saw me, but she recovered quick. "Hey, you two, come on in." Mark looked confused, but didn't say anything. We settled in the living room, and I made small talk, keeping my purse close. Lisa was jittery, her laugh too loud, her eyes darting to Mark every few seconds. I excused myself to the bathroom after 10 minutes, leaving the recorder running in my bag, angled toward them. I lingered in the hallway, out of sight, listening. It didn't take long. "So, everything okay after last night?" Mark's voice, tentative. "Yeah, thanks to you." Lisa's tone was soft, flirty. "You always know how to make me feel better." A pause. Then Mark, quieter. "You don't have to keep doing this, you know. Calling me all the time. Tom's gonna figure it out." "Let him," she said, I edged to her voice. "He doesn't get me like you do. Never has." I clenched my fists, heart pounding. I wanted to storm in, but I held back. Let them dig deeper. "Lisa, come on," Mark said, sounding uneasy. "You're married. I'm married. So, doesn't mean we can't, you know, have something on the side." There it was. The line crossed. I heard Mark shift, his voice firm now. "No, that's not happening. I love Jen. This, whatever this is, it's gotta stop." I exhaled silently, relief mixed with rage. He wasn't cheating. Not yet. But she'd tried, and that was enough. I walked back in, all smiles. "Miss me?" They both jumped, Lisa's face flushing red. I grabbed my purse, turned off the recorder discreetly, and said, "We should head out, Mark. Early day tomorrow." He nodded, eager to leave. Lisa barely mumbled a goodbye. I had the proof. but I didn't use it right away. I let it simmer, let her think she'd gotten away with it. For 2 weeks, I acted normal, cheerful with Mark, polite with Lisa when she texted me about some family dinner she was hosting. "Everyone's coming," she chirped. "It'll be so fun." Perfect. The night of the dinner, I dressed sharp, red dress, heels, the works. Mark raised an eyebrow. "You're fancy tonight." "Felt like it," I said, smiling. At Tom and Lisa's house. The table was packed. Mark's parents, his cousins, Tom's buddies from work. Lisa flitted around, playing hostess, throwing me smug little glances like she'd won something. Mark sat beside me, oblivious to the storm brewing. Dinner was loud, chaotic, full of laughter and clinking glasses. I waited until dessert, when everyone was relaxed, a little buzzed from wine. Then I stood up, tapping my spoon against my glass. The room quieted, eyes on me. "Since we're all being honest today," I started, voice steady. Lisa froze, fork halfway to her mouth. Mark frowned, confused. I pulled my phone from my purse, the recording already queued up, and hit play. Her voice filled the room, clear as day. "He doesn't get me like you do. Doesn't mean we can't have something on the side." Then Mark's rejection, firm and final. Silence crashed down. Tom's face went white. Mark's jaw dropped. Lisa stammered, That's not what it sounds like." "Really?" I cut in, calm but cold. "Because it sounds like you've been chasing my husband behind my back." And Tom's. The table erupted. Tom stood, voice shaking. "Is this true?" Lisa tried to babble excuses, but he stormed out, slamming the door. Mark's mom gasped, clutching her napkin. His dad muttered, "Jesus Christ, Lisa." I turned to Mark, who looked like he'd been punched. "I didn't. I told her no, Jen, you heard it." "I know," I said softly. "This isn't about you." I sat back down, took a sip of wine, and let the chaos unfold. Lisa fled to the kitchen, sobbing. Family members argued, some following Tom outside, others grilling Mark for details. I stayed quiet, watching her world unravel. Later, in the car, Mark grabbed my hand. "Why didn't you tell me you knew?" "Needed to be sure," I said, "and I wanted her to feel it." He nodded, guilt in his eyes. "I'm sorry. I should have shut it down sooner." "Yeah," I agreed. "You should have." We drove home in silence, but the air felt lighter. Lisa's lesson was learned, publicly, painfully, permanently. And me, I'd proven I wasn't the type to let betrayal slide. Not ever.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button and share it with your friends. And if you'd love to see more content like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon so you never miss a new upload. See you in the next video.